Hey YouTube, good to see you again. I'm going to go ahead and put a video real quick to answer some of the questions that I've been getting on the harnesses that you're pulling out of wrecks. So this is just a summary video. I'm still working on starting another harness, but what I did want to cover were some of the basic pieces of a harness that you'll find when you pull a harness from a wreck. Okay, the first thing that I want to cover is this is a complete setup, all right, and I can go over all these connectors at a later date if you'd like, but this is a pretty much of a complete harness. There's three pieces. First piece is the main harness, which is what you see here, okay, and it has the thicker connection, or the thicker insulation, more wires in the trunk, and it also has the grommet for the firewall, which is right here, okay. And then also at the end on the inside, you'll see the famous or infamous 60-pin connector. It's right there. So you have the main harness, which is what you see here, okay. And then you'll see this one's a little different because it has the extensions on it, but it's what they call the salt and pepper shaker. It's 10 pins each, and this connects the main harness here to the engine harness. Now the engine harness has really engine related components. You'll see the air charge sender, the EGR, the injectors. Here's your connectors to your injectors, and also you will see your senders for your oil pressure gauges and your water temperature gauge as well. They're embedded in this. If it's complete, it'll all be there. Notice the TFI coil connection is not part of the engine harness. That is routed a separate way. That's this piece here, and it's attached to the main harness, okay, and this plugs into your coil, all right, and here's your spout connector here for you. Remove that to set your timing, all right, but this also goes over here to the engine, all right, so there's your engine stuff. And the common practice is to eliminate these connectors when you do a rebuild, just to get rid of the potential problems that old connections can create. Okay, so that's just some advice, and that's some of the stuff we'll talk about in the later videos. And then the last piece is the O2 harness, and this seems to be a challenge for a lot of people to get, which is probably pretty realistic because these things are near the exhaust, and they do have a tendency to burn up or break or whatever. The the O2 sensor harness starts at this connection, okay, and this connection is several pieces, female, and it has several wires. This is an O2 sensor connector, okay. It's got a couple of wires in it. This usually is a power, a ground, and a signal return to pin 43 or 29, depending on what side it is. Okay, and you can see there's 3 wires in that branch right there. You can see my hands in the way, but okay. And then also on this, depending on what your harness came from, you'll have a wire that is used to go to a neutral safety switch. It's pin 30. It's the dreaded pin 30 wire. Okay, this is it here. It's hard to see it, but it's purple and yellow. This goes back to pin 30, and this went to a neutral safety switch because this harness came out of an automatic transmission. A manual transmission car. Also on here, you'll see here's the other sensor plug. Okay, it's small. I'll just see with my limited photography here, but it's a smaller connection. It's got 3 wires, like I said. This one is the other side. This is pin 43. Okay, this is hacked. This harness was hacked up. So, but what you also have is you have a VSS for your variable speed sensor. It can also run down this way, and you'll also have there's an oil, I think it's like an oil temperature sensor or something that some of the Mustangs had, and you'll see that routed through this connection as well. Okay, so this harness seems to be very difficult to obtain. Some say it's made of unobtainium, I've heard it said, but you can make it. You can buy these connectors for about $9 on eBay, and you just hardwire them right back into the harness, right back here into the main harness. And that's what I've done in the past successfully. Just wire them right in, eliminate the whole, removable harness piece. But this is it. This is a O2 sensor harness. I've gotten a lot of questions about it, and I just want to show you what it looks like. And again, it doesn't usually make it out of the donor car. It usually just gets left in there because it's usually, or it may be tied to the transmission or something, or broken or brittle. Like this one there isn't much left of this one, as you can see. But also note your O2 sensor. This is where your O2 sensor connector goes, right here. Okay. All right. Now I have ordered, I've used in the past with the Mustang setup, I looked up on Rock Auto the Bosch O2 sensors for an '89 Mustang 5-liter. That one seems to be compatible for these connections without any troubles. Okay, and again, just so review, you have 3 pieces to your harness that you want to get from your donor vehicle. You want to get the main harness, which you see here, okay, and you want to see, which is also contains the 60-pin connector and the firewall grommet. And then on the other side of the salt and pepper shakers, which we call those 2 white and black connectors, you have your engine harness, which has your injector connections, your air charge, EGR, idle control, and other engine-related functions, excluding the coil. Actually, not the coil. Did I say coil? The distributor. If I said that before, I'm sorry. This is the distributor connection. Okay. Please ignore it if I said it was a coil. The coil connection is down here. This usually ends up in the lower firewall, down in the fender area. Here's your power. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry. There's your power. Here's your ground for the whole system. Okay, but this is down in the engine compartment. Here's your tester. This is where you plug your little check light into to read your codes. And then this is your barometric pressure sensor. Goes there. The mass air is further down there. Okay, but I can go over some of these connections, and I apologize. This is not the coil. If I said the coil in the previous part of the video, I meant to say the distributor. Okay, this goes into the module and the distributor, but it's not part of the engine harness. As you can see, it doesn't route through the connections. Okay, and again, if you have any questions, email me. I try to answer as best I can. I'm going to rebuild some of these and sell them in the next couple months. Try and cover it. I apologize again for the last series of videos, the quality and the completeness, but I will try and get more detailed information up there for you guys as best I can. So remember, I'm a hobbyist. I'm not a mechanic. I used to be a teacher, so I tend to try and share as much knowledge as I can. So this is something that I like to do and I like to talk about. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Okay, this is Rich signing off.